Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh video, and in this video I'm going to be restoring this Apple Watch Series 3. This is a 38mm model which I picked up for $70 off a Facebook buy swap sale. When I met up with the person, they told me that the Apple Watch had fallen off of their wrist on Christmas Day when they were trying to put the watch on. The screen is severely shattered and is falling away from the housing of the watch, and in this video I will be restoring this back into fully functional condition. The watch itself is complete with its matching box and instruction booklets, although it is missing two parts of the bands with only one half of the large band left. The watch did however come with the magnetic charging cable, which in itself costs $45 here in Australia. I was able to set up the Apple Watch to an iPhone, but for the most part the touch doesn't work and the screen is pretty unusable, with only the very top part of the LCD actually responding to touch. Now, like I said before, it also included the magnetic charging cable, but not a power brick. To repair this watch, I'll need a replacement LCD, which wasn't cheap, coming in at $227, as well as a replacement force touch sensor, which cost me $7 from China. The first thing I'll need to do is power off the watch, and as you can see there, the touch isn't responding, which means I'll need to hold down the side button and digital crown until the display turns black. And it is at this point that the watch is fully powered off. I can lift up the display, which is very easy to do considering that it was so shattered that it wasn't even held down to the frame. I then peeled away at this tape covering up the three display connectors. They are locked in at the top, so you'll need to use something to pry those away. I just used a spudger at the beginning, but that was a little bit too thick, so I used a thin metal pry tool, which worked much better. With the screen now disconnected, you can see the old display right there. Next, I have to use a 000 tri-wing bit to remove the one screw holding in this plate. Underneath that plate is the battery connector and force touch connector. I should mention here that you should do this first and disconnect the battery, although I didn't actually know this is where the battery was connected, so that was my fault there. But now with the force touch sensor disconnected, I can begin by prying up the sensor itself by inserting a metal pry tool in between it and the frame of the Apple Watch, and then begin to pry up. Once you get a big enough bit, you can just grab onto it and rip it out of the watch. The best part about doing it this way is you actually take up the glass with it, so there's less work when you need to clean up the surrounding bezels. Now, as you can see here, I did have a large chunk of glass which was stopping me from actually removing the last portion. With that big bit of glass gone, you can see that it just peels away from the watch. It's vital to replace this part as it is the adhesive as well as the actual force touch mechanism for the Apple Watch. With that removed, I can give the bezels a clean and prep it for installation of the new display and force touch sensor. I did at this point disconnect the battery, which will make sense later on when I'm connecting up the display. Firstly, I'll need to remove the back of the force touch sensor, revealing the sticky adhesive. I can then press down on it and seal it into the watch, making sure to run a spudger or something similar along the edges to make sure that it's adhering correctly to the frame of the Apple Watch. After that, I can remove the plastic piece in the middle, which actually just helps it keep shape, and then connect up the display so I can test out the watch. To do that, all you need to do is line up the connectors, pressing them into place, and then using a spudger to make sure that they're properly connected, and just pressing lightly on either side, and they will lock into the socket just like that. With that now done, I can reconnect the battery, and press and hold the power button to make sure the watch is still functioning. With the new screen on, the touch is now working, there's no more cracks, and the watch seems to be fully functioning. I also did test out the force touch sensor as well by pressing harder on the display, and that was working correctly as well. With it now working properly, I can power it off and continue to seal up the device. I reinstalled the little bracket and tri-wing screw that holds down the battery and force touch sensor cables, and removed the top portion of the adhesive for the force touch sensor. After checking there was nothing left out, I could press down on the display, sealing it into place. This is a very important step as you want to make sure that it's got a good seal so you don't get any water or dust into the watch. Now that it's sealed back up, I gave it another test to make sure everything was working. Once I could confirm that, I reinstalled two bands which I purchased from eBay, and we're done. And this is it, the fully restored Apple Watch Series 3 38mm, which I picked up for $70, sunk some money into it, and it cost me a total of $304. Now, Apple does still sell this Apple Watch for a total cost of $399 here in Australia, so it's not significantly cheaper, but it is a fair bit cheaper than buying one brand new. The housing itself's in really good shape and condition, so there's no need to worry about that. I'm unsure whether I will be keeping this Apple Watch as it is only a 38mm version. I am looking for the larger size as that's what my current Apple Watch is, but it is only a Series 0, so I am looking for an upgrade over that model, so this is a good watch for the meantime, but I will most likely be purchasing another one with the larger screen size. The Apple Watch itself is running version 5.1.1 of watchOS, which requires iOS 12 or later. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the restoration playlist to see more videos just like this one. Also, make sure to follow me on my social media, link for that will be down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.